Well, this isn't exactly what I was expecting to find. I'm not exactly sure what happened. You can see the frames are all flipped out. Looks like they're still working brood on those frames. They're all strewn about. I'm gonna have to suit up and see if I can figure out how to put these things back together. The fence is still up and it's been on. Let me go suit up and see what I can figure out. So, looking over the frames, it was definitely a bear. I got claw marks and you can tell where they cleaned out a bunch of the honey that was left in the hive here. I'm hoping underneath that cluster that I've got one of the queens there. If so, I can build back the hive with that. And on this frame here, there's a pretty good cluster of bees. I'm hoping the queen's in there. I won't know because I'm not going to spend the time to take and check it out. I'm just going to get these frames. We've had some cold weather. I don't know if that brood is froze out, but we'll throw it in that hive, put a second hive together here, and see what happens. Hopefully we can get something salvaged from these. There's frames missing. I'm missing what is it, about 7 frames out of a 9 frame medium. And I don't know how many deeps. I did find a couple way off in the field, so I'll have to go for a walk and see what else I can find out there that it carried off. But I have to take and figure out what I can do to keep them from coming back. Well, there are some of the missing frames. Let's go see what we got down here. It decided once it eaten enough of the honey and the wax, it also tried the plastic apparently. Well, I don't see any more out in that direction. Let's pick up what I've got here and see when I'm still short. Usually bears don't go that far out in the fields. One of the mediums. Never had problems with bears here before, especially considering 6 deep. The field is fenced and around the hives are fenced. It used to fill those 2 boxes. I'm still missing. And now power is on. Deeps. So it's a hot fence. So I've still got some more walking to do. And they I don't see any other stashes where the bear was grabbing them and wandering off. I'll have to clean them up. See if I can find the rest of my frames. But I did find a couple off in that direction. I can do. I don't know what to do. We'll take a walk over there. We're keeping the bear from here. If I can't find them up in the timberline. I'll have to do some thinking. There are 3 of the ones. I found one in the field, so I'm still down 10. But one queen, I'll probably just combine the 2 slowly they're being accounted for. If by chance there's both of them there, so I've been wandering around for a while. Seems like a lot of the stray bees might have jumped to one of the other hives. There was quite a few bees at the entrances. Probably take a walk to the farm and grab the bike and drive around the field. But I've got the 2 that I tore apart. The back is 2 deeps. I'll give them a couple days and have to check them out. So I added another wire around the bottom. And I checked, and it turns out there wasn't actually power around the hives. Back that way about 3 poles, it was disconnected. So it must have been disconnected this spring when we were trying to get cows in that pasture over there. So that's why the bees, or the bear, was able to get in there and make a mess. So with power around it now, hopefully that'll take care of it. And with the double wire, it shouldn't be able to sneak underneath and without getting a good shock. I'll get everything else cleaned up here in case it comes back. And I'm still missing 9 frames. They could be anywhere. farthest one away that I found was out there next to that apple tree. So it's quite a ways. I'll probably go for a walk tomorrow, see if I can't find them out in the timber. Once you get out into the timber with all the hardwood brush that's coming in, you don't have the visibility to see as far, so it's a lot less likely that I'll find them. But that's the way it goes. So it's been 2 days since I put the hives back together after the bear tore them apart, and I'm going to take and get into them and see what's going on. It was real windy yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to take and look at them. In fact, I didn't even get into the other hives. It's still windy a little bit today, not near as bad. Probably enough to mess with the mic on the camera, but not so bad that I can't get into the hives. So we'll open them up. So this is the entrance of the hive that had the frames that were laying out. There's a big cluster on the back side of the one frame. So there's quite a bit of bee activity. Let's open it up and see if there's a queen in there. So I'm not finding a queen in here, but what I did find is right in there, there's an emergency queen cell. Right there, you can see it. So this hive is working on trying to get themselves a replacement queen. I probably will still give them one more frame of brood out of another hive and take and make sure that they've got a good chance of getting requeened. If that for some reason is non-viable with the cold weather we had, a lot of the brood that's in these frames are dead. You can see where they're cleaning them out. And if it is viable, they can take and use the boost of the additional brood. So this is the entrance of the hive that had that cluster kind of in this area. We'll open it up and see if there was a queen in there, and if this one's all set to go, or if this is going to need some help as well. So there's absolutely nothing down in that bottom box where all those bees were clustered up. I did find this frame here up on the top that they're all clustered on. I'll probably move that group of 3 frames down to the bottom and get into one of these other hives and try to get them a frame with some brood on it. See if we can't get a hive out of this yet. They'll be set way back, but if I can get a queen in there, I can take and at least get another hive going here. So I didn't find any frames with a bunch of eggs on them in the top box. So I'm going to pull this one off, start through the next box, and see if I can find where she's laying. Well, it took some looking, but I finally found the queen. Here she is, right in the center of the frame. So now I can take and look for some frames that has some eggs in it and transfer that over to the other 2 hives and not have to worry about moving her on accident. So I'll make sure I put her in a spot where I know where she is, and I can grab some frames that got eggs in them. So I'm getting this hive back together. I took 2 frames with eggs out of them. I put one in that one, dropped it down to a single box, and I have one for that hive right there. So I'll tear that one back apart, get that frame in there, and I might drop that one down to a single one as well. So with all the robbing activity, I put an entrance reducer in. There was a frame inside the hive that had a bunch of honey, and the robbers had found it. So I put an entrance reducer in, put some grass in there to plug it up. They can chew their way out, or I'll come by in a day or 2 and pull the plug out. I added that frame with the eggs on it and put in a feeder, so that way they got food for a couple days at least. Well, that plug is in and they can't get out and forage. We'll jump over to the other hives on the trailer and check those ones out. As you can see, the robber bees appear to be trying to get into the back of this hive as well. So I'll have to take and get that centered a little better in that box. There's not such a quite the gap when I get that opened up. But both of these hives are 2 deep hives. If they're strong enough, I'll add a 3rd deep in there to give them plenty of space to get going. So this hive was looking pretty good, so I slid the box in between. So the top and the bottom one have bees, and the middle one is the one of the boxes with frames that the bear had cleaned up. So I'll give them probably a week or 2 and see what they do with them. As you can see, when I pop that open, that one's got plenty of bees. Now they've been using the upper entrance, so it doesn't surprise me that there's more bees in this upper box. I'm guessing that bottom one's going to have plenty of bees as well, so I'll slide that box in between. And I'll probably flip my cover. I don't want them using that upper entrance because you get all the guard bees up on top when you take and have that upper entrance. And then when you go to work them, they're buzzing you, and it makes it a little more difficult. Yep, just as I suspected, that one's full of bees. I'll throw that other box in there. That'll give them plenty of space then. I'll also pull that feeder out and drop 2 frames up in that upper box, so those will be drawn comb, so they'll have some drawn comb to work in as well. So I'm going to wrap this video up. If you'd like to help me out, you can hit the like and subscribe button. Until next time,